Elements members, it's Coach Beth. You know what? I forgot my AirPods. One moment. Okay, so let me make sure these are, I think we're on. Oh, awesome. Welcome. It's Tuesday. It's election day. I am so glad that you're here. So glad that you're here. I am really happy to be here. Frankly, I needed the distraction from everything. So, in particular today. So I'm really glad you're here. We've got a water bottle. Make sure you've got yours. It's full. Let's take a drink right now. Just a sip. And those little sips along the way are going to help keep us energized and on track and hydrated. You never want to chug that water for many reasons, but especially during a workout, you just want to keep it moderate. I've also got these cans of beans here. You can go ahead and find a couple of beans or something that weighs a little bit of something to work with today. So lately I have not been using music to go with our workout because Facebook takes it down because of licensing, because of the music that I've been choosing from Spotify. So I'm going to take that down one more time, make sure that you can see my feet pretty well. Right about there. All right, so glad you're here. Let's go ahead and get started. Sitting on your chair. Now I'm on a table, but your feet are flat on the floor. And I've talked about this before, that when you're sitting on a chair or sitting on a ball, you want your hips to be slightly higher than your knees. However, you want the feet to be flat on the floor too, so that rise shouldn't be too high. Maybe an inch or two, hips higher than knees. And that's universal. That's wherever you have the opportunity to lift those hips higher, it's better than sitting in a bucket seat where the hips are really low and the knees are really high. So make sure you're paying attention to that, especially if you're doing a lot of sitting in front of a desk, in front of a computer. I'm just going to start here by feeling my sits bones against the table. I'm kind of on the front edge of my chair here, and I'm looking out at my horizon. Now I just want to go ahead and breathe and let the shoulder blades glide up as I inhale, just through a very little effort. And then exhale without dropping them, just slide them down the back. I want to try to strive to do this with as much symmetry as possible. So see if you can time it so that the shoulder blades rise up at the same time together and control down together. Okay, try a couple more. You may have one shoulder that can do this better than another. Maybe you've got pain or a neck issue. Just work within the parameters that you have personally, and we'll just do a few more. Notice I am not sliding those shoulder blades as high as I can go, right? I don't want to get all bunched up in the upper traps here. I just want to slide the shoulder blades. And maybe that's a little less than the height that I'm capable of going. That would be better than hiking them all the way up and creating a lot of tension around the neck. Right now I have no tension anywhere. So I want you to keep striving to make this as easeful and tension-free as possible. Now, after you have slid those shoulder blades down the back, I want you to add a little more draw downwards with those shoulder blades. So that's called depression. If I were to let go of that depressed shoulder blade, I'm gonna let those shoulders go completely and then let them fall where they may. Let's try that one more time. So shrug them up and then gently glide them down. Pull below neutral. Okay, so that's the feeling of putting those shoulder blades in my hip pockets. And then I'm gonna let go of that depression and stay there. Good, let's reach those arms out in front. We're gonna open the arms wide. And I want you to stop before you feel like you have to stop. All right, and then bringing them forward again. Just shoulder width apart. That's as far as I want to go with that. So open, the shoulder blades are sliding towards the midline or towards the spine. I want to stop before that beat starts to become overly tight or an issue with the bones. Sometimes scoliosis can prevent us from doing this well, or balanced, or comfortably. So know your parameters within which you're working. And hi, doggy. And hands right in front of the shoulders. We're going to do 3 more. This is the same sensibility. It's just gliding. I'm not trying to reach for any particular range on either end. I just want to move my shoulder blades and see how smoothly and fluidly I can do that. Okay, we're going to do 2 more. On this one, with the arms being longer, you're going to start to get a little more warmth around the shoulders because you're holding them out in space for a good period of time. And that's good. I want them to get warm, maybe a little tired even. All right, now right here, you're going to bring 1 up and 1 low. Notice the 1 low gets the little rest. So stay with me, and then switch those positions. So an alternating scissor switch here. 1 high, 1 low. And now let's breathe. Exhale to reach in opposition. Inhale to transition. Exhale. Inhale. Now what that exhale is going to help me do, besides becoming aware of my breath, which I always want to be aware of, especially when I'm trying to relax the body and trying to move well, keep my core engaged, it's also giving me some stability through the abs and the rib cage, so that when I reach up, my ribs aren't going to pop out in front of me. My spine remains the same. It remains long and neutral. Feel those sit bones underneath you. Rebuild the posture if you feel like you lost a little bit of height there. We never want to find ourselves slouching, not in my class. And switch, 1 high, 1 low. And 1 high, 1 low. Stretch those 2 points away from each other. 1 high, 1 low. 1 more each way, 1 high, 1 low. And last one. All right, very nice. Let's rest the hands on the lap, palms are up. All right, I said slouch, and I think, well, okay, let's contrast a slouch. So first we have to slouch. Go ahead and sink the belly back, sink the ribs back and down, and just slouch to your heart's content. You're totally softened right here in the core. Now we got to build up our core as if you're wearing a nice big corset, from the hips up around the rib cage, up to here. So all this zone right here is supported now. Imagine that ribbing, right, in the old-fashioned corset. The ribbing is holding you upright and stable. Let's go ahead and sink it down again. Slouch, kind of like a big bowl of gravy. And then sit up tall, lengthen out through the crown of the head. And then just mush down, just relax and soften. It's not so nice for the back. If this hurts your back, obviously don't force the slouch. But it's more of a relaxed posture and then a built up, strong, erect posture. And then let's try this 2 more times. So just slouch, really no thought to structure here, and then lift and build. We're building a nice tall tower. Now on that one, I'm going to push into my feet a little bit more. Then I'm going to slouch and let go. So notice how the feet and the legs can help you also lift and build your posture up strong. Now maybe the shoulders have slid back just a little bit. That looks really good. All right, keep your posture from now on until the end of class. I want you to be aware of that corset keeping you lifted. Let's take a deep breath. Arms come up, and then show me your palms, slide them down the front. Inhale, arms up and out. Exhale, down. If you have a difficult time raising the arms over your head due to some shoulder pain, then keep the arms lower. You can always come up, out in front, and down, okay? Halfway up, or less so. 2 more. 1 more, up Good thing you're not right there. The front row would have gotten spat upon. Step your feet out a little bit wider. Place your hands down on the thighs, right above the knees. Now, it'd be really easy for me to see how my shoulders just slid up to my ears. I'm going to try and control that, bring them down. I'm going to hinge the body forward towards the floor, between the knees, but not all the way. Then I'm going to go ahead and twist to the right. Using my right leg as support, I'm going to move my left hand and reach my left elbow towards the floor. Use that right leg as leverage. Slide the shoulders down the back. Think of reaching out through the crown of the head. You're like a turtle coming out of its shell. And then let's bring the left hand back to the thigh and sit up right through center. We're going to try that going to the left. So hinge forward. My hips are still on that chair. Okay, and then you're going to put the right hand on the left. Point your right elbow down to the floor. And breathe. Shoulder blades down the back. We're getting taller as we work. Inhale, rotate to the middle. There's the floor. And press yourself back up. We're going to do that again, going the other way. Hinge forward. Spine is straight. Move the left hand to the right and twist, pointing the left elbow to the floor. Now I'm going to direct my eyes to get the rotation going. Looking over my right shoulder. Inhale to the middle. Exhale back up. Notice I have not slouched my spine with this exercise. I'm going to hinge. Right hand over left, right elbow pointing to the floor, looking now over that left shoulder. Well, that rain just did not appear, did it? Been expecting it all day. Rotate back to the middle and come on up. One more time each way. It's a hinge. When you hinge, slide the shoulders down, pull the tummy up and in. And then twist to the right. Point your left elbow to the floor. Inhale, rotate back to the middle. Exhale, sit up tall. One more. Inhale. Exhale, twist. Right elbow points to the floor. Look up over the left. Inhale, back to the center. Exhale, sit up tall. Nice. Okay. Bring those knees and ankles together. Okay, now we just want to build, it's as if we were standing on one foot. Our legs are tied together. My hands are right next to my hips. Now, if you don't have terribly long arms, or maybe we could even say shorter arms than spine or torso, don't worry about lifting the hips all the way off of the chair, okay? But my hands are right here. Make sure that your chair is on a really stable surface. You're definitely not on wheels. And you're just going to push the hands into the chair to get a little more height out of the spine. Maybe a little lift, maybe a little heat on the backs of the arms, and then gently come back down softly to the chair. Another way to get a little more mileage out of that press is to make fists, just a nice soft fist next to you, and then that gives you a little more distance. You got to make sure that your wrists are happy with that. So now I'm a little higher off of the chair, and then I'm going to softly bend the elbows and come back down. I'm going to try that a couple more times. So you find a method that works here for you. Never slouching, especially on the way down. 3 more, 2 more. And down. Great wrist builder. 2. But I keep adding one on, I'm not sure. I think we probably better just do 1 more. Or I'll just keep saying 2 more, 2 more, 2 more. Extend the right leg out in front. Grab one of your cans of beans here, or can of soup, whatever it is you've got. Palm is up. I've got a slight bend so that that arm is kind of rounded. I'm going to start at the hip. I'm going to scoop it out in front of me and bring it back. As I hinge and reach forward, I'm trying to stretch that right leg. And you can extend the arm fully as you reach out. Just make sure that your support, your spinal support is really on it. And feel the pelvis tip forward a little bit, or rock forward and then rock back. And rock forward and rock back. Stretching the back of that right leg. And be careful not to lock it though. Reach. Back. 2 more. Swish. Or scoop. Scoop the arm. Scoop the arm, reach. And up. Right on. on the back of the arm. It's going to keep your arm here and also allow you to palpate the triceps, the muscles that we're trying to work. So when you bend your elbow, it's still right there. It's in front of me and to the side, so it's definitely in view and stays in view. And I'm just going to extend the arm, reach and bend. And feel those triceps as you extend the arm. It should get a little tighter here. And stretch it long and shorten it and stretch it. Let's do 5 more. Bend and 3 and bend. Here's a 2 and bend. Last 1. Now for those of you who don't like to bring that arm up over your shoulder, let's do a set without extending the shoulder. So what you'll do, or flexing the shoulder rather, you can stand up, bend the knees slightly, hinge your body forward. There's that nice straight spine again, and the corset is on. We're going to pull the elbow back to our waist, and from here, you'll extend the arm and bend, and stop when the weight has fallen into gravity. Rather than pulling the weight up to the shoulder, I want you to let it stop at gravity and extend. Now that's going to keep me from swinging the weight. I never want to swing my weights around. We lose the effectiveness of the work that we're doing if we start swinging and using momentum, and it's unstable. And it's kind of dangerous. You could run into your bones and really kind of bruise yourself. So never swinging, extending and bending. 3 more. But that right arm is getting nice and toasty. 1 more rep. Bend, lower, and stand up. Good. Oh, I like how the stripes show up on the screen there. Hopefully that guides you a little bit better. Okay, you're going to have a seat again. Left leg is extended, and we're going to stretch that hamstring. Now, one of the things as you go ahead and start this, remember we're going to scoop the palm forward and bring it back. You can always support your right hand on your right thigh. Scoop, scoop your soup, reach and elongate. What I want you to feel for under your hips is that both hips stay on the table with even weight. They stay square as you hinge forward and back. If you're really tight, don't go too far. We don't want this to hurt. We just want it to be tight. Sit up. Scoop and reach. Sit up tall. 2 more. Maybe you're getting a little farther, a little more progress with that stretch. And up. So there's no rule about how straight the leg is, okay? Just make sure you don't lock it. But you can certainly stretch, and if you're tighter person, tighter strung through the hamstrings, bending the knee is a great idea. Remember, a tight hamstrings leads to tight low back. If your low back bothers you frequently, stretch your hamstrings, and your hamstrings are right back here. We just did that stretch. We did an active stretch. You could do a static stretch where you just hold the stretch. Remember, never put weight, direct pressure or weight on an extended joint. That means the joint is open, okay? It's long. Never, never put weight. I see sometimes that people trying to force the stretch by pushing down on their knee. That's really dangerous. Don't do it. Okay, we got triceps. Here we go. Left elbow is pointing out in front of you. It's lifted. I'm going to hold that tricep for support. And I'm going to extend and bend. If your shoulders are really tight, you could either go to option B, which we'll do in just a moment. We're going to do another, we're going to finish this set of 5 and 4. This is actually a full set of 8. 3. Feel that tricep right where my fingers are. That should get nice and tight as you extend the arm. Straighten the arm, reach it away. Bend and lower it down. Okay, now we're going to go into that tricep kickback. Soft knees, hinging forward. You're welcome to support on a chair or something like it. The arm starts long. We bend the elbow to the waist. Find gravity with your weight and push the arm away. Stop at gravity. Push. It's easy to find gravity. You just kind of let things go and let it hang rather than pulling forward. Extend. Slowly find gravity. Extend. Slow to find gravity. Always keep the breath alive. Pull those abs up and in, as though you're pulling them towards the back waistband. 2 more. There's 2. Make the arm a little more straight. Reach it back and bring it in and lower and stand up. Beautiful. All right, go ahead and put that can down. Standing with the feet almost shoulder width apart. Let's go ahead and find a little twist. As you twist, I want you to pivot those feet, knees, hips, ribs, shoulders, everything. And the arms just kind of follow. Now you can let the arms swing with momentum. Notice we're swinging, but there's no weights in my hands, so this is a safer bet. Add a breath. Now, it's never enough just to twist. I want you to now grow taller as you twist. Let's see if I can reach my head to the top of that screen. Up. Get taller. 3, 2, and 1. And relax. Great. Let's grab a drink of water. You're doing fantastic. All right. Set that back down. And we'll go ahead and get both hands and beans in hand. Remember, you've always got the option to sit down if that's what you need to do. If you're getting tired or something's not feeling right, maybe it's just a slower day, that's okay. But we're going to start standing here. And what we'll do is curl the weights up to 90 degrees. There's our arms, 90 degrees, right angle. Okay, flip your palms up. Now what we're going to do, I want to make sure these cans don't roll out of my hands. What I've done is kind of clamped them with my thumb and my little finger. If your hands aren't that big, just make sure you got a good grip on your can or your weight. And we're going to bring the weights up. Now my elbows are right about in front of my shoulders. That might be high for some folks, especially if it causes you to force yourself back and shorten that back. That doesn't feel good for my back. So I'm going to try to stay upright and tall. Bring the elbows down and reach them back up. Lower down and reach. So we're warming up that shoulder complex. Try to keep the distance between the wrists and the elbows uniform, so that as the elbows come up, the arms are parallel. One more time, up and hold. Now, keep in mind you can always lower this down if it's uncomfortable for your shoulders or neck. Now I'm going to open the arms, palms facing out, and then turn them back in to face you. Rotate out, open, bring it back in, elbows reach forward, and elbows reach out, east, west. Good. Rotate in, rotate out. One more time, in. One more time, out. Good. Now we'll go ahead and come back in and lower the elbows, lower the hands. Nicely done. All right. We're going to go back to that 90 degrees at the elbows. We're going to alternate. Right elbow up, and then left elbow up. And right elbow up, alternating. Great for the anterior shoulder. Stretches the rotator cuff. Now, if you want to add a little more challenge to this, seated or standing, as I lift the right hand, I'm going to march the left knee up, and then I'll switch. So you're just going foot to foot. It's just a big arm swing. You could just consider this marching with a big, slow arm swing. I want to make sure I don't walk out of that frame. And lift. And lift. There's that 90-degree elbow. Whoops. And lift. It's a nice natural arm swing. We don't want to force it too much in either direction. Takes some balance, doesn't it? 4, 3, 2. I'm going to add one more because I think I started with that right arm. There's the left arm and lower down. Good. Okay. Really nice job. Let's go ahead and keep those weights. We're gonna work on the backs of the shoulders a little bit more. Again, you can do this seated or standing. I like to challenge my core as I do this work. So what I'm going to do is simply hinge forward, first by softening the knees. Soften the knees and then hinge forward. There we go. All right, now I'm gonna pull my elbows back, extend the arms long behind me and keep them long. Okay, I'm gonna lower an inch and lift an inch. Lower an inch and lift. Lower and lift. Notice how small that range is? The arm is as long as it can be. I wanna make sure that my spine didn't round either direction too far. It's neutral, it's long. My abs are pulled up and in. Keep the breath open. Assign a breath to each rep. 3, 2, can you make your arms straighter? 1, bend and stand up. Yay, good job. All right, let's put those weights down for a moment. And we're gonna do some squatting. We always do squatting, but first I want to stretch. So, let's say, I'm gonna go around to the other side. And you've got a few options. You could use the chair back, which would probably be about here for most folks, I would presume, okay? Or you can use your chair seat. I'm gonna set my feet pretty wide. I don't know if you can see them under the table, a little bit. Okay, they're wider than my shoulders. What I'm gonna do, and I'm fairly close to the edge of my chair, I'm gonna hinge forward, being careful not to round my back. So use the chair as your support. Now, when I hinged forward, my hips displaced backwards a little bit. Allow that, all right? Make sure you're not all on your hands. Your back and your heels, your hips are behind your heels. We're gonna bend the right knee, stretching the inner thigh on that left leg, and come back to center. As you lunge side to side, press the hips back behind you, lunging, and middle, and lunge. Right now my feet are parallel with each other. They're lined up like this. Use the chair as support. Now if you've got a stronger core and you've got confidence in that, go over to the thigh to support. Hips go back. Hips go back. My hips go back so far that I can see my foot when I look down on the lunging side. If I go lunge to the right, I can see my right foot, and so on. Pull the hips back. You should be getting a pretty good medial hamstring stretch and adductor stretch. One more each way. And breathe. Okay, come back up. We're gonna accordion the feet in. That's heel, toe, heel, toe, heel, toe. Ouchie, don't hit your knees on your chair. Okay, we're gonna do one more, we're gonna do another stretch here for the hamstrings, and then we'll go back out and do a different variation on that other stretch. So, here we are, and I wanna soften my knees, hinge forward, place either my hands flat on the chair, or again that fist, okay? So this is a pretty low seat for me as far as hamstring flexibility. So I'm gonna bend my knees to begin, and I'm gonna then bend my elbows so that when I stretch my legs, just test your range first. Straighten your legs, not to lock, but straighten, and see how the hamstrings feel about it. There's no slouching here. You're gonna bend and extend. And when you extend, keep those hips back behind you, stacked over your heels or maybe slightly behind your heels. And stretch, and bend. Stretch, bend, keep the spine long. 3, use your chair here as your support. I'm gonna bend my elbows a little bit more because I can get a little more stretch out of that. Just make sure that when you stretch, it's not pulling on your back and forcing you into a round back, okay? It stays long and strong. You're gonna bend, 3 more. Stretch, 2, and 1, and stretch. Soften your knees, and stand all the way back up. Take a deep breath, and lower down. Okay, we're gonna do one more version of that adductor stretch. So the feet are gonna go wide, wide, wide again, but this time I want you to turn them in a bit. That's a little extreme, but that's the inward direction I'm heading. I want it to be a little more subtle than that. Okay, now I've got longer legs, so I'm gonna have to stretch my feet a little bit wider. All right, there we are. Use your surface, hands or fists, and we're gonna go to the right again. Pull the hips back. Okay, so that's going to affect you in a different sort of way in the stretch. It really pulls us into the adductors really nicely. And middle, pull the hips back as you bend the right knee. If you want to challenge this and just hold on to your waist. As long as you can keep that spine really long and neutral, I'm fine with that. The safe bet is to keep those hands on your chair, however. And again, it's either on the chair back or the seat itself. Keep the shoulders down the back. We're almost there. One more each way. Hips go back. And middle. And back. And middle. According the feet in till they're shoulder width apart. Keep the right hand planted. Move it a little further forward. And let's balance our weight on 2 feet and 1 hand, the right hand. Take your left arm, reach it out to the side. All right, what we're gonna do is draw an arc down to your hip, and I want you to follow that with your head and eyes, and then bring it back out. And as you follow that around, we're allowing a little bit of side flexion through the thoracic spine. And out. 3 more. And out. 2. Follow the hand with your eyes. And 1 more. Rotate. And back to center. Slide your arm through. This is still the front of my chair right here. And then bend your right arm. Slide the hand through. So you can get a nice stretch here. Now some of you, I'm sure your chair is not this broad unless you're on a bench like me. This might be a little tricky, but maybe if you can get that elbow on the chair. And then let's come up out of that and stand up tall. We're going to try that going to the other side. First, drawing the arc with the right arm. So left hand planted, put even weight on 2 feet and an arm. Reach your right arm out. And we're going to follow that arc down to the hip or as far as you can get, and then back out to the side. So this allows both a little rotation. It's going to be hard to feel the rotation, but there's some lateral flexion. And out. Slide it down towards the hip. Kind of keeping your arm on this one horizontal plane and following it around the body. One more time. And out. Slide it through. Bringing that shoulder closer to the chair. Hips are high at this point. Nice twist through that spine. And then come back up. Place your hands on the chair. Flex your spine up. And let's rise all the way off of the hands to the feet. Rebuild your posture up to standing. Beautiful. All right, let's get off of those feet for a minute, walk around and grab a drink of water. All right there. Nice work. Okay, now let's work towards some squats. All right, we'll start with some sitting and standing. Weights are optional. I'm going to go ahead and hold on to my cans of beans here. There's many variations on squats and what you can do with arms, what you can do with timing. Okay, so what we'll do is we're going to stand up on 1 beat. Basically, just a nice, stable, steady stand up. Okay? When you're standing here, I want you to think of narrowing your sits bones behind you, okay? So you're pulling these thigh bones closer together, not so that you become knock-kneed, okay? Not so that you shift from a neutral foot stance, which means you're not flat on your feet. Stay flat on your feet. Now we're gonna go down, okay? I think holding the weights right at the center of the body, either at the sternum or just below at the rib cage here, is a really nice place because it's a little less load than if you were to reach them out, okay? So just a little lean forward, press up. I should say tipping forward, and then as you go back, you got that same angle and right there. So a little lean forward up, hips go back, 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 and down. Tip it forward, press into the feet, narrow sits bones, sit back down. So this is where it becomes handy to sit on a slightly higher chair surface so that the hips are a little bit higher than the knees. If you have to sit, you may as well do it in the most comfortable and healthy way possible. It's called ergonomics, right? And hips go back. And tip forward, press into the feet, stand narrow sits bones, sitting back and down. 2 more. Hips go back. There we go. And tip forward and stand. Excellent. Let's curl the weights up to the shoulders, pressing right, left, now 2 right, 1 and 2. Now left for 1, right, 1, 2, left, there's 1 and 2. Now right and left, 1 and 2 on the right. Left and right and left, left, right, left, right, right. It's a single, single, double pattern. 1, 1 and 2. 1, 1 and 2. Find a rotation of those arms that feels good for your shoulders. 1, 1 and 2. One more set of single and double. Now out in front, it's 1, 1 and 2. 1, looking straight at you. Here's 2, coming right at you. 1, 1 and 2. And breathe, everyone. 1, here's 2, 2, 1, 1, 2. Last set of single, single and a double. Right there, beautiful job. Arms heavy and long by your sides. Shoulder blades up and shoulder blades down. Kick back into a split stance, right foot behind, left foot forward. My weight is 50-50 still on my feet. I'm gonna reach the right arm out, dump the beans out, tip it back up, lower down and left, tip it out, dump it out, and down and the right. Dump and up, good. Still feeling that nice gravity on my feet. Up and down. Yes, you can do this seated. Tip, up and down. Keep those ribs up against the body. Keep that corset on. We're taller every time we breathe. And down. These are going to be mush by the time I'm done. Up. And I'm really actually using these for dinner tonight. So I hope they're not mush. I like a whole bean. And down. One more each way. Right, up, and left side. Reach it out. Dump the beans. Tip it up and lower down. Good work. Set those beans aside. Grab your water bottle, please. We're going to hold it end to end. If you don't have a water bottle nearby or one that's not sealed well, then grab a can of beans again. What we'll do this time is step the left foot back into our split stance. The right leg is forward. Okay, we're going to curl that water bottle up and then bring it overhead. Yikes, you can't see my overhead, can you? Let me tip that up just a smidgy. Whoops. Okay, so that water bottle is going to be over my head, just there. And I'm going to draw a halo around my head, right there. can get that water bottle further behind your head, do it, but don't do it if it's going to cause you to take those ribs into a frenzied motion. Okay, now go the other way, just draw that circle. See how much mobility we can get going in the shoulders. Drawing that halo, stand a little taller. Nice strong legs. 3 and 2, feeling that or hearing that water slosh around, and 1, and bring it down. Great work. All right, I want to do a little bit of lateral raises, but I'm going to step my feet into a more serious lunge position. So I'm going to put my left foot forward, my right foot back, like so. Okay, now is a good time to use your chair back as a balance support or some sort of other prop. You could use a broomstick. I've got this stick right here. You could use something like that. All right, so let's just start with the lunge. My foot is way back behind me because when I bend my knees, look at my front knee. It's stacked right over my ankle. My back knee, I'm trying to get that to bend at the same angle, and then I'm coming back up to straight. Both knees bend to the same degree at the same time. So that requires some awareness. I'm just going to hold that bottle right at my core here. And up. Okay, now, the bottle here is going to keep me lined up. I want to make sure I'm not leaning or lunging forward with my body. I'm just bending straight down and straight up. This stick also gives me that mental reference of going straight down. I don't want to be moving that stick at all. Okay? Up. Now you can progress that lunge. Make it a little deeper. I'm going to move that foot forward a little bit more. Bending both legs. And up. 2 more. Bend. And stretch. And up. And there. I'm going to step that right foot, that back foot forward a couple inches. Okay, I'm going to put the weight down. Now, stretch that back leg long. And then we're going to pick up the heel, bend the knee, and then watch my pelvis. I'm going to tip it back. Now, tipping it back means I'm pulling the front of the pelvis up towards my sternum, but I'm not rounding my back to do it. Keep the chest proud. Now reach the heel back again. Tuck the tail under. What I'm after is a stretch right here on the front of my right thigh. Let's reach back one more time. This is a good one to practice. Now I know that your legs might be a little tired, a little shaky here. Let's stretch the leg away again and step together. We're going to do the other side, starting with that lunge. Holding your weight right in the center line of the body, right here. Okay, so the right foot's forward, the left foot's back. The left foot is quite far from me with longer legs. Just make sure the safety check is when you lunge, that front knee stays aligned over the heel. It's not extending out over the toes, and then you'll stand up. So you're either holding onto your chair back, something stable, something stationary, or a broom handle, or this stick I've got here that works quite nicely, reminding me to move the body straight down, straight up, straight down, straight up. Keep your eyes on the horizon. Two more. Up, up, one more. Right there. Scoot that back foot in a little bit. I'm going to put the water bottle down. Press the back heel or the left heel into the floor. Then I'm going to pick it up, bend the knee in, and then tilt my pelvis back. Try to become flat through this part of my back, tucking the tail, and then reach the heel away. There's a nice stretch there. Pull the knee in, tuck the pelvis. Keep the chest proud. And stretch the heel away. Pull it in and tuck. Good, low abs. Pull them up and in. And then reach the heel away. And step forward and together. Nice. All right. A few deep breaths with our water bottle. You've done a great job today. Let's have a seat. This is supposed to be chair optional in this class, so make sure that whenever there's an exercise or there's work that requires that you sit, please use your chair. Please use your chair. If you're failing, you don't feel well, your balance is off today, whatever it is, use your chair. That means almost anybody can do this class. All right, I'm gonna grab a drink of water. Talking so much that I'm breathless. All right, yeah, we were gonna use this for our breathing. All right, so what we'll do is reach the arms out in front. Remember to keep those ribs up against the body as you open the arms to inhale. Exhale, hands together and switch. Open. Feel a little added weight. Gives you a little challenge to keep the arms very level. As you open, inhale. As you close, build that corset up even taller and stronger when the hands come together. And inhale, stay tall here. Exhale, that's where we need the support, is when those levers get long and the load moves out away from the center of the body. Makes sense, right? And open. And in. Inhale, stay stable. Exhale, together, one more each way. Big open and close. One more and close. Very nice. Place that down. Let's do a couple of roll downs. Hands on the thighs. Hands are going to slide down the legs, down the shins, round, round, round. Like there's a ball or a pumpkin on your lap. You're rounding over it. When you come back up, first, rock the hips back. Set them down on the chair. And then rebuild your spine. Inhale. Exhale. Shoulders are easeful and relaxed. They're not going to be able to help you with this. In fact, the more you release the shoulders, the better the spine will let go. Restack for me up to the top, right on top of those hips. And not rounding forward. Hands slide down the ski slopes. Take a deep breath as you press into the feet. Pull the abdominal wall away from your legs. Set the hips back and rebuild here. Ah, so great. So glad you joined me today. It was a happy little 45-minute break from the real world. This is as real as it gets though, right? Taking care of yourself. I'm glad you did it. I'm glad you were here. Please take care of yourselves today and for the next few weeks, well, for the next few months. Stay healthy. Keep your distance, wash your hands, wear your mask, and don't go out if you're not feeling well. You know the 4 W's, right? Okay. Well, be well, and we'll see you Thursday at 3 o'clock. Bye-bye.